everybody to a long overdue live stream. It has been a minute, guys, that I've done a public live stream. I just kind of fell off on that. I've been focused on making new content for you guys, but we're back. And the very first thing that I like to do in a live stream is to give me thumbs up that I look good and I sound good, because my channel members that are already in the chat, I see a bunch of them here. They know that sometimes we run into some gremlins here in the KaveMan fish cave. So I want to make sure that there are no gremlins, hopefully, for the entire stream, and we are good to go. So I see a couple of thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. You know, sometimes we got mic problems, camera problems, software problems, but hopefully we're good to go. I see a lot of thumbs up, so that's good. I don't see anything about problems. Very good to go. Okay, so first of all, before I jump in and start shouting you guys out that we're here bright and early, I want to shout out you that is watching the replay right now, because that means a lot too. So make sure that you comment Replay Squad in the comment section so that I can thank you properly. All right. So bright and early was my man. I saw it very first and early. Oh, it's not letting me scroll all the way to the top. There you go. First gremlin. I don't know why. Why wouldn't it let me go to the top? But I think his name was Jim. Jim was the very first one here. Let's give congratulations. You got the first spot in the chat. I see a bunch of channel members. Let me shout out everybody else first. I see Sharon from Tom's River. I see Carrie from Edmonton, Alberta. Barrett's here from Texas. My boy LJ Tropicals is here, of course. Jules is in the building. Lori is here. Barrett, I said Barrett. Jonathan is here from California, Antioch. Antioch. Am I saying that right? I don't know, but California's in the building. Let me see. Chris Adams is here from Pennsylvania. Eddie's in the building from Tennessee. Rodriguez from California. Okay. My man Eric from New Jersey's in the building. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Let me get the guys just jumping in here. Brooklyn is in the building. Rocky and Plants from Brooklyn in the building. Osho Boricua in the building. Jerry from Laguna Beach, California. I love it. Roz, you're not watching the replay, Roz. You're here live, my bro. But thank you for that anyway. If you watch the replay again later on, then you comment Replay Squad. Osho from Tampa, Florida. Ryan is here from England, Manchester. Let's go. Buddy Lee is here. Christians from Oregon in the building. Aline, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, from Manchester, England as well. Okay, England is in the building. Mindful Fins from Arkansas. All right, we got a whole bunch of people here. Yvette from Boston. Buddy Lee's Ohio's in the building. I see Michael from Jersey. Tinny's Tiddlers is from the UK in the building. Let's go. I love it. Jim from Tennessee. Rocky says Live Squad. I like that. If you're here, comment Live Squad. We're in the building. All right. Temple, Florida's here. All right. And Op from Denver, Colorado. We got a whole bunch of people here from all over the world. I love to see it. We're going to get going with the topic, which is going to be for beginners. If you're a beginner, you're going to love it here, because I'm going to go through these top 10 things that I think is the most biggest struggles that beginners have, and the solutions real quick. And then we're going to get into some Q&A at the end of this. My boy from the Black Table in the building, Adam Brown. What up, bro? What up? So let's get it popping right here. Let's go. Let me rotate right here. So while I talk about these topics, guys, I'll let you guys check out the tanks. It's the way we do it on the channel, on the channel members live streams that we do every 2 weeks. So if you like this format, we do this every 2 weeks on the live stream. So you might consider joining the membership. So number one is going to be, and I know you guys heard this before, is going to be new tank syndrome. This is very commonly known and heard and said, this phrase, new tank syndrome, but beginners don't know what this is at all. They never heard of this. This is like super alien to them. But it happens to every single one of us without knowing. New tank syndrome is basically adding fish before the cycle finishes. So most of us go to the fish store. We talk to the guys at the fish place. We say, we like that fish. We like that fish. We want to get this all into the tank right away. And they tell us, well, is your tank cycled? And we look like a deer in headlights and we don't know what they're talking about. And they say, yeah, ammonia is going to be present in your tank and it's going to kill your fish. And we're like, what are you talking about? Ammonia, what is that? Why don't fish swim in the water? Don't they live in water? Why would they die? I don't understand. So some of us, listen to those precautions, and some of us completely disregard them, right? And then we get into new tank syndrome. Our new fish die. The tank looks horrible. We get frustrated, and many people quit before they've had a chance to really dive in and enjoy this hobby, all due to new tank syndrome. And the solution is very easy. The answer is cycle the tank before you start stocking fish. With that said, people, many of you guys already know that I have a very well-established bypass to just letting your tank sit and cycle before getting fish, because nobody wants to do that, right? We all want the gratification right now. Trust me, I understand. So for those of you that don't know, Chem Prime and Chem Stability every single day, 1 dose every day, and you can add the fish to your brand new tank on the same day that you get it. If this is the first time that you're hearing about this, the Prime and Stability method to get fish in the tank on day 1, you need to go find my video, because I have a whole detailed video on exactly how that works. But the point is this: you have to have the tank either cycled or cycling with some product before you add those fish in the tank, or they will die. Absolutely true. Number 2 is going to be bacterial bloom, cloudy water from a bacteria spike. Many beginners get their tank started and get it going, and they start to freak out the moment that the water gets cloudy and foggy, and they don't know what to do. They start panicking, water changing, trying all these different products, and they make the problem even worse than what it already is. Okay, bacterial bloom is very common. It's normal to happen in a new tank. What's happening is you are beginning to grow bacteria in your tank. The first type of bacteria that actually grow are the type of bacteria that are seen to the naked eye. That cloudy, foggy water is actually bacteria that is visible to you. But that bacteria, as your tank matures with time, will eventually go away on its own when it's starved out by the other beneficial bacteria that we need in our tank, which you cannot see with the naked eye. And then your water will become clear. The solution is don't panic. Don't start doing a bunch of water changes, because water changes is going to reset that bacterial bloom every time. Don't start adding a bunch of clarifying products, because you're just wasting your money. Leave the tank alone, let things settle down, and don't add too many fish right off the top, right off the bat. Okay? Number 3 is going to be, let's rotate again. Number 3 is going to be overstocking, right? This ties into bacterial bloom. Too many fish in too small a space. We go to the fish store, we see all these beautiful fish that we want, that we like because they look really nice and pretty, and we just buy a whole bunch of fish, and we think, hey, you know, it's going to be fine. They're all in water. But fish grow. Fish get stressed. Fish need space. That myth about a fish will only grow to the size of the tank that you keep them in, that's total BS. That's not how it works. The fish are still going to grow to the size that they have the potential to grow to. Maybe not totally physically on the outside, but the internal organs are still going to want to grow. And if they're in a cramped space in a tank that's too small, that's going to stress them out and be detrimental to your fish. So overstocking is very common for beginners. They just start loading the tank with a whole bunch of fish. You really don't want to do that. That's going to lead a recipe to disaster right there. All right. Next one, number 4, is overfeeding. Beginners think of fish like we think of cats and dogs. Okay. We want to feed the crap out of our cats and dogs and any of our other pets. But with fish, it's different because they're in a volume of water. And while you may think that you're doing something good for them by feeding them a lot and watching them go after all this food, you're really not. Overfeeding causes a ton of problems, not only in your tank's water quality, but also in the health of the fish themselves. Let me say this right now. Fish will literally eat themselves to death. If you put food in the tank, they are going to want to eat it, even if they get so bloated that they can't poop that food out, and they will kill themselves, okay? Another thing that beginners need to know is that fish are supposed to look hungry. When you walk into the room and they swim up to the front of the glass and they're all going crazy because you're there and you could tell that they want food, they're supposed to look like that. That's normal. That's the sign of a healthy fish. Fish with appetite that want to eat are signs of a healthy fish. The opposite of that is signs of something going wrong, like disease or parasites, is when your fish look like they don't want to eat. When they have no interest at all in any food that you put in the tank, that's a problem. So don't think that because, oh, look at them, they look like they're starving. Oh my God, let's feed more, let's feed more. You're gonna destroy the water quality. You're going to possibly make your fish sick. They could even die from it. Don't overfeed. Number one problem that we all have as beginners, okay? Number 5 is gonna be weak filtration. Many of us go to the pet store and we buy this all-in-one kit, the tank with the filter, with the thing, and that thing. And we get, you know, these little rinky-dink kind of filters. Sometimes they're hang-on back filters that no name brand at all. And they got these cartridges in them that you got to replace every week or something like that. That kind of filtration might make you feel like it's actually doing its job and filtering the tank, but it's absolutely not. And on top of that, especially with the ones that come with those cartridges in those cartridges are becoming a home for your beneficial bacteria that is needed in your tank. And every time you remove that cartridge, throw it in the garbage and put a new one in, the way they suggest you to do with those type of filters, you are literally throwing away your life cycle, the life of your tank, the beneficial bacteria. You're throwing it away and restarting it. And you'll notice that bacterial bloom that we talked about earlier, that keeps on coming back. Your tank can never stay clear. Your water is always kind of cloudy. It's because of those cartridges. It's because you have a weak filtration and you're not turning the water over enough. So it's okay if you want to go get those all-in-one sets, right? But if there's anything that you need to upgrade right away, is that filter. Get yourself a regular, $30 hang-on back filter that doesn't use those cartridges, and you'll be golden. All right? Number 6 is going to be skipping water changes. Dirty water is going to result in sick fish. You might go around the internet and do a whole bunch of research, and you might find some people talking about how important water changing is, like your boy, and you might find some people that talk about how water changes are unnecessary. I implore you to do your own research. I implore you to look at the creators that you enjoy watching and look at their tanks. Look at how they keep their fish. Look at the quality of their fish. Look at the quality of their water. And if you like what you see, then you should be doing what that creator does. If you like the way the tanks look from those guys that don't do any water changes ever, and you're okay with the way those things are looking and running, then you can do what they do. It's all up to you. You can make your own choices. But on this stream, I'm going to tell you how important water changes is, okay? How important water changes are, excuse me. Your fish are living in their own toilet. They're peeing, they're pooping, they're literally creating ammonia as they breathe out into the water column. All of their organic waste turns into ammonia. Any food that may be uneaten, back to that overfeeding problem, that stays in the tank, that begins to rot. It deteriorates and creates more ammonia. You're just creating a cesspool environment in your tank. And unless you have a very heavily planted tank, and I'm going to stress the words very heavily, okay? Not just like a plant or two, very heavily, then you got to do water changes to get the result of the nitrogen cycle, which is nitrate. Ammonia becomes nitrite, and nitrite becomes nitrate. And that nitrate stays in the tank and makes the water filthy, dirty, nasty. Your fish will become sick. Your fish's growth will be stunted. Your water will not look nice, and you won't enjoy your tank. You'll get algae problems. Algae will start to grow. So water changing not only removes all that nasty stuff from the tank that you don't want your fish to live in, but water changing also replenishes a bunch of minerals that are found in your water that the fish consume. Okay, fish need these minerals. They absorb it through their skin, through their gills, as well as getting their nutrients from their food. So once all those minerals, nutrients are depleted from the water, a water change helps to replenish those. So, water change, people. All right. Number 7 is going to be algae overgrowth. We kind of talked on that a little bit, right? Too much light and too much nutrients. Many beginners turn their lights on forever, all day long, 24 hours of the day because they want to see the light in the tank all day. That is a food source for algae. Algae feeds on those inorganic nutrients like those nitrates that build up in your tank, also as well as phosphates that build up in your tank, and they are photosynthetic. The light is also a nutrient for algae. So if you keep your lights on for too long, just because you want to be able to watch your fish, what's going to happen is you're going to get a green tank. You're going to have algae all over the place, and you're going to freak out. You're going to get frustrated. And after a while, if you can't figure out how to get rid of that algae, nobody really wants to look at that algae-ridden tank. And you might get frustrated enough that you want to quit. So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid beginners getting so frustrated that they can't figure it out and then leave the hobby altogether when it's a really easy solution, right? Reduce your light, reduce your food, do your water changes and get those nutrients out. And when you find that balance, because it is a little balancing act, you got to find where your sweet spot is, where you can either have fish in the tank that help to consume that algae when it does grow, but you're also in control of how many nutrients are in the tank so that algae doesn't grow. Okay, keep that in mind. Number 8, incompatible fish. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the stream. Actually, not that much later on, but incompatible fish is a huge problem. People go to the store, and some stores, believe it or not, I'm sorry to say, they really want to make a sale. They want to sell you these fish. That's how they make their money. And while most stores want to educate you and tell you that you need to wait before you add fish, this fish might not go with that fish, some stores will be like, oh, you like that fish? You want that fish? Here you go. Have it. Meanwhile, those two fish hate each other. They attack each other. They kill each other. One fish gets humongous while the other one stays like this. And one day becomes a snack. One fish needs this type of water parameters and the other fish needs that type of water parameters. And they really shouldn't live together because one of them is going to be stressed or both. So not doing your research on the fish that you're buying and keeping incompatible fish is another recipe for disaster. All of a sudden, let's say your tank is cycled, everything is going great, you got great filtration, you're feeding the right amount, but you're losing fish all the time. Why? Because you don't even know that you have incompatible fish that should not be kept together. With that being said, I want you to take that with a grain of salt. Because in this hobby, there's a ton of people that love to tell you that fish cannot be with that fish. And while there is some truth to that, there are plenty of exceptions to that rule. And I have proof back here, okay? When we get to the Q&A section, you guys can ask me how I do these things. But I got arowana with discus. I've got American blood parrots with African cichlids. I've got Lake Tanganyika frontosa with Malawi cichlids. I've got things happening here, all right? So try things, but don't go crazy. Don't go all the way left, thinking that you can do this impossible thing. But also, don't just say, hey, they told me I can't keep these two fish together and assume that that's fact, because there's always a gray area, okay? Number 9, no water testing. Flying blind on water quality. If you start up your new tank and you don't test your water and you don't know what's going on, you're going to lose in this hobby big time, big time. You have to test your water. There's no way for you to know what's in your water, what has changed in your water, what parameters are in there for the specific fish that you have, unless you test your water. And in the beginning, I remember my beginning, I was kind of going a little crazy with the testing. I was testing every day. Testing for ammonia, nitrate, pH, making sure the temperature was right. I was testing every day. I was a fanatic. And that's, in my eyes, in my opinion, that's kind of normal. I think that's the way you probably should be in the beginning when you're kind of learning this whole thing. After a while and you get more experience, the testing does slow down because you start to become one with your tank, right? You can tell how fast nitrates rise. You already got temperature probes in the tank. You know what your pH is, right? So your testing does slow down. That doesn't mean that you stop testing completely, but especially in the beginning, you need to be testing your water. If not, you won't know what's going on, okay? Finally, number 10, and this is a big one, quarantine. I talked about it in plenty of videos. I talked about it all the time. And beginners hear this word quarantine and completely brush it off. They're like, that's just being overly protective. You guys are being super anal. I don't even know if I can say that. But most beginners are like, nothing's going to happen. It's all right. It's fine. And let me say this. I say the same thing all the time when I talk about quarantine, okay? There's two types of aquarium hobbyists in this hobby. The first type is the person that quarantines their new fish because they've experienced what not quarantine does. They've lost fish. They've had disease spread in their tank. They've lost maybe their entire tank, had an entire tank wipe. This has happened to me. I've wiped an entire tank over there, 150 gallon. That's type 1. And type 2 is the type that doesn't quarantine because they've never experienced any disease, loss of fish. They've never had anything bad happen to them yet. Which one you are, it's up to you, okay? So quarantine your new fish, very, very important, not only for disease prevention and treatment, but also because new fish are typically very stressed. You are moving them from one environment to another. You're moving them from one water parameter at the store to another water parameter in your house. And these stressed fish need some time to settle in and get used to the way you do things. If you put them in a tank right away with established fish, they may go after them. They may pick on them, especially when it comes to African cichlids. You really don't want to put brand new fish right into a tank with aggressive fish. That fish is probably not going to make it. So quarantine for those two reasons. Guys, we reached the end of the top 10. Now I want to switch over to some Q&A time. What time is it? It's 10:24 over here on my end. We're going definitely for at least a full hour until 11 o'clock. But YouTube has this new thing going on up here. I don't know if you guys can see what I can see, but up on the top, there's a little target thing and it says 0 to 20. There's a goal, right? And if we reach the goal by the end of this hour, by 11, we're going to stream for another additional hour and keep going with the Q&A. So let's hit it. I see my boy Big Ron is in the building. Is this pre-recorded? No, sir. No, sir. Big Ron, we are live and in color right now. Let me see. So there's no way for me to, go all the way back up and see what all you guys are saying. So I'm going to scroll around. I'm going to try to stay at the bottom and just pick questions and answer them. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Before we get into the Q&A, I've got to do a little bit of plugging here, okay? Because this live stream is brought to you by the KaveMan Aquatics, okay? So, guys, if you don't already know, this live stream, we do this 2 times a month, every other week for channel members. If you're joined the Tank Boss level channel membership, you can jump on the live stream with us. Is everyone that has those KaveMan Aquatics badges here in the chat, those are channel members, and they can attest to how fun of a time we have every time we do our live streams. It's always cool. It's always fun. On top of that, you get a bunch of other perks like behind the scenes stuff. Sometimes I put out members only videos. You get your loyalty badges. You get these little emojis. You get a bunch of perks. Go check it out on the channel. Hit the membership tab, and you can read up all the perks that you get by joining the channel membership. Next, we got my Crystal Clear Water book. If you guys are having problems with cloudy water, especially you beginners, make sure you check out that book, okay? I have a free version I have a free ebook in ebook version. You can go to my website, KaveManAquatics.com, download the free ebook, or you can buy the paperback version. I think I got it for like $10. Either one is going to be great. You're going to love that book. Anyone that has it already, please let them know if you enjoyed the book or not. I see you fish nerds. Give me a second. I see you fish nerds. Then we got our African Cichlid course. Okay, now this African Cichlid course is everything that you need to know on keeping African cichlids. If you like what you see back there and you want to try those challenging fish that are a little bit of a step up, there's really nothing to it. You just got to learn what you need to learn. And once you got it down packed, you'll be able to keep African cichlids no problem. That is a full-blown online course. Check it out at KaveManAquatics.com. You can buy that over there. Last but not least, we're not doing points today, right? How come I don't see the chat bot? I must have not turned it on. Okay, anyway. Finally, the last thing that I want to tell you guys about is the Aqua Builder app. If you guys don't already have the Aqua Builder app, I don't know what you're waiting for, but the Aqua Builder app is everything that an aquarist needs in there, okay? We have setting up brand new tanks for beginners. We have checking on fish compatibility. That's what I meant earlier when I said when you buy incompatible fish. If you're in the fish store, pop open your app, type in that fish that you're looking at, and see all the fish that it's compatible with right there from the app, okay? We got a chat bot in there that you can ask it any question. We have a social feed where you can see everyone else's tanks and compare their tanks to yours, get inspiration of how they do their tanks. What else do we have on there? It's so much stuff. I can't even remember it all. And we got a bunch of new stuff coming too, right? We got the saltwater build now. We got saltwater fish included now, starting your new saltwater tank. We also have a bunch of new things that are in development right now that I can't even really talk about. But when I tell you that these things are super cool, but they take time to develop, we're on it. So go get the Aqua Builder app. It's free. There's a premium tier if you want to join the premium, but most of the features are free. Check it out. All right. Last thing that I want to talk to you about, no more plugging, but I do want to tell you guys some events that I'm going to be at. Next weekend, I'm going to be in Georgia. The town is, why do I always forget the town? I know it starts with an M. Madison. I'm going to be in Madison, Georgia, which is 1 hour away from Atlanta. We're going to be at the CChem facility, and we're going to do an event called the CChem Experience, okay? All the CChem ambassadors, including myself, are going to be there. We're going to tour the facility. There's going to be food, games, prizes, merch. It's going to be a fun time. If you still have a chance to make it out to Georgia next weekend, make sure you get there because I'm going to be there. And next month, at the end of September, September 20th and 21st, I'm going to be in the UK. There's going to be a great show called Aqua, and myself and the rest of the CChem team and ambassadors, we're all going to be in the UK. So for all my UK guys that are here in the chat and you wondered if we could ever meet up, yes, make your way to the UK next month, okay? Here we go. It's time, guys. We have reached the time of Q&A, baby. Thank you for sitting through that, guys. All right. I wish I would have remembered to turn on that bot because that bot usually does good stuff. Anyway, I see Manitolves, whereabouts in the UK, he asked. I don't really know. I think it's London. I think it's going to be in London. Now, listen, forgive me, okay? If London's not in the UK, I'm sorry, all right? But no, that's London, England, right? I don't know. I don't know any geography over there. I just know that it's going to be in the UK. But go to the CChem's website, and they'll have information on that. So Ryan, I see Ryan says, Kev, when a tank gets cloudy, should one use API Aqua Clear or should one just use a UVC? That depends, Ryan, on what's causing the cloudiness. I touched earlier on bacterial bloom. And if it's a bacterial bloom, you really don't need to do anything. If you got a UV, yeah, that'll help. A UV will help if that's the reason. But really, you just got to wait it out, give it time, and be patient, and it'll go away. If your tank is cloudy because you're overfeeding or you got dead fish in the tank or something like that, that's another story, right? A UV is going to help with that. Also, you really don't need to dose I don't use any water clarity products. API, Aqua Clear, CChem also has clarity. Those products do clear up your water, but it's a temporary fix because what those do is just clump up all those particles and make them bigger so that when they find your filter, they'll get trapped in your filtration. But if you don't actually fix the problem that's causing that, then once that product is gone and wasted, the cloudiness comes back. So that's why I don't use those clarifying problems. You got to find out what's causing the cloudy water. Yusuf says, I have a question. You don't have to say that. you have a question, Yusef, just ask your question because now I might never find you ever again. How long do peacocks take to grow? I think if you get them from fry, it takes about a year and some change to get to juvenile size, and then maybe a year plus more to get to adult size. Anywhere from 2 to 3 years, you could reach adult size with African peacocks. So thank you. Yes, London, UK. Thank you. Thank you. I was unaware and I didn't want to say something wrong. So if you're anywhere near there, bro, make your way out there. Joshua says, stay away from Petco and PetSmart for fishes. Go to personal breeder better. That's where I get all my fish from. I kind of would agree with that, right? Because Petco and PetSmart are just like grabbing fish from anywhere in massive quantities and don't really care about their quality and don't really care about quarantine or if they have disease or not. Your mom and pop fish stores or very good online breeders are definitely the way to go. I see T-Shad. T-Shad joined the membership. Is in Dallas, Texas. I used to have something going on here. Okay, let me see something here. I forgot about this. Eddie became a Tank Boss member. Let's go. Welcome to the Tank Boss membership, Eddie. And I see a super chat from... Why can't I see it? Show it to me. I can't see it anymore. Sorry, I missed it. Why? Let me scroll up. Maybe if I scroll up, I can see it. Oh, I got it. I'm learning this. Fish Nerds, $4.99. A super important message I think beginners should know is it's okay to not be perfect. We all make mistakes. It shows it's how we all learn. Fish Nerds hit it on target. Everybody goes through problems. Everybody makes mistakes. We all lose fish, okay? We all get frustrated. We all have to climb the ladder. We all have to crawl before we walk. Fish Nerds is absolutely correct. You can't let these mishaps in the beginning frustrate you to the point of wanting to quit and give up because everybody has gone through them, including myself. You see this back here? This is not how it started. Not at all, not by any means. So take your time and you'll get there. Thank you, Fish Nerds, for that. And thank you for the $4.99. Appreciate you, bro. Bling Bling says, currently at the mechanics watching some KaveMan. Yes, sir. I love it. Big Ron says, Kev, I know they are your boys. So do you know when Snake River Cichlids are releasing the frontosa? Releasing the frontosa? What do you mean releasing the frontosa? I don't know if they're holding frontosa or not, or if they have any. I'm not aware of what's going on with it. Kojak McNitty, welcome back, bro. Kev, it's Anibal from Florida. I know, Kojak. Yo, hopefully you take a flight next week, bro. I'll be happy to see you over in Georgia, man. Welcome back, Kojak. Brad says, everyone says it's normal for the pectoral fin to turn red occasionally at the base of peacocks and haps. That is not normal. Would it be stress or disease or just normal? No, that's not normal. Let's see. Do you see a lot of pectoral fins with red on them in my tank? I don't. That is not normal. And that could definitely be some kind of disease or something going on there. Not normal, bro. Michael Mara. Welcome, Michael. With the Let's Go with the KaveMan fan membership. I love it. Kev, what's up, bro? I'm currently running an FX6 and a AquaClear 110 HOB on a 75-gallon tank with about 28 to 32 Mbuna African Cichlids. I'm considering adding another FX6. Will that be overkill? So your FX6 and your 110 are definitely more than enough for that tank. 32 Mbuna is like a perfect number right there because Mbuna are a little smaller. You got really good filtration. Now, will adding another FX6 be overkill? Absolutely not. You cannot ever over filter a tank. It's not possible. Okay, overfiltration is not a thing. You might overkill your pockets, you know, if you want to spend money on another filter. But if you feel like you just want more flow, more filtration, that's up to you, you know. And if the flow gets too strong, if you feel it's too strong with your canisters, you can always close the valve a bit and reduce the flow. So the answer that I give to everyone about is this filter or that filter overkill? No. Most canisters their flow can be reduced if you need it to be. All right. Tiny says, what's your favorite African cichlid? Mine is the Venustus. I do not have a favorite African cichlid. I have never ever been able to pick one. They are all beautiful. in their own ways, and I love them all just like I love all my children and can't pick a favorite. Steve says only adjustment was using discus buffer. I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. Buffer pH is 6.6, 3-day. I see them on the cone. Are they going to survive? I don't know the original question, Steve. It sounds like you have eggs or something on a cone. They might survive. I don't know what else is going on in your tank. Christian says, how many Haps PCAC can I stock in a 90-gallon? So I have a whole video on exactly how many you can keep in different tank sizes. Off the top of my head, in a 90-gallon, as adults, you could go anywhere from like 30 to 35, maybe even push 40 in a 90. But with those numbers, you really have to over filter the tank. Don't forget to over filter. You must. Now, you know, when I say those numbers, guys, don't get scared, right? Those are overstock numbers, which you're supposed to do in an African cichlid tank, but you have to over filter. Brian says I put an FX6 and a 407 on my 75-gallon with 25 Haps. I put a UVC on my FX6. That's great. Brian, you're doing great. That sounds amazing. Lamar says, I have a 55-gallon with about 15 in Mbuna and over filtering. Lost 3 this week. Sorry to hear that. Tested the water parameters. pH had dropped. What could have possibly caused the drop? All others were fine. So pH drops normally all the time in your tank. Another reason for water changing when you're supposed to. As nitrates rise, pH drops. As carbon dioxide fills the tank, the room that they're in, the environment, carbon dioxide is going to make the pH drop as well. So doing your regular water changes helps to keep your pH stable. Now, if you don't have any buffering materials in your tank, like Malawi buffer, or if you're not using aragonite sand, if you're not using crushed coral, those kind of things are buffering your water to keep your pH high and stable. So you may want to also test your KH. If your KH is very low, that's going to make your pH volatile. So that can definitely cause your pH to drop. I see Miss Hall. Miss Hall says it crashed because one sick fish lost the whole tank. So I think Miss Hall is talking about quarantine. Miss Hall is that person that learned the hard way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging you, Miss Hall, at all. Okay? Because many of us have learned the hard way, myself included. We tend to feel like nothing bad's gonna happen. We'll be fine. And we learn the hard way. That's the other side of it. The people that quarantine religiously, every time they get new fish, is probably 99% because we learned the hard way. So don't feel bad, Miss Hall. As long as you learned, you're good. My boy Los Angeles Cichlids is in the building. Oh, please don't repeat your question. Give Kev time to see it. Yes, sir. Christian says, do you still keep using food supplements? I do. The Zooplankton Nourish and Vitachem, I do. I ran out of Vitachem a while ago, so now I'm just using Zooplankton Nourish and what was the third one? And Garlic Guard. When adding Metroplex to food for treatment parasites. Oh yeah, you can do that. So I use it still. I don't use it as much as I used to because it's a little bit extra work every time. So I try to use it at least once a week now. But if you're feeding Metroplex to treat parasites, yes, you can still use those supplements in that food too. It's just gonna benefit the fish even more. Andrew says, I have a 55-gallon tank. Is BioBox 2 system sufficient? I don't know what a BioBox 2 system is. Let me scroll. I'm scrolling. Let me see what I missed up top a little bit. I'm going to catch somebody's old one. Fish Fam link. Like what you see, make it official. Like and subscribe. Is that Fish Fam link? Okay, I like that. Joshua says 10 redfin Borley, 6 or 7 yellow labs, a couple zebras. I don't know where the question is. Okay, he says Joshua's saying his tank. Let me get back to the bottom. Miami Obi says, sending love from San Antonio, Texas. Thank you, my bro. Appreciate that. Let's rotate. We've been stuck on this tank for a while. My bad, I forgot. Guys, if I forget to rotate, let me know so we can rotate. Tiny says, one of your rocks is floating. Yeah, I have a floating rock in the African cichlid tank. I like that look because it gives it kind of like a cavern type of look. It looks like a cavern to me, like they're in a cave. Some people love to tell me, hey, bro, rocks don't float. And I'm like, yeah, have you ever been in a cavern? They're not floating, but they're up there. So yes, the rock is floating, but that's not the point. The point is to make it look like a cavern. Anyway. How do you know, the Jacob Malesio says, how do you know how much is enough food when feeding bottom feeders? That's tough to say, Okay, you gotta just watch them eat. Less is more. Okay, you don't have to go crazy feeding them, because as long as you actually see them grab a piece of food, that's good enough. Like if you saw it, then they're getting good enough food. You don't want to keep adding, thinking that they're not getting enough, because you're gonna overfeed the tank and you're gonna get more problems. Eddie Chibatar just got the brand new membership badge. What are you doing to make sure your discus are getting enough to eat? Being in with arowana, I'm worried my discus will be out competed in the community tank. They eat really slow. So the discus food, let me stop this and switch there. The discus food that I feed them is way too small for the arowana. The arowana do not go after the discus food. So that answers that question. Now, the geophagus that I have in the tank do go after that food, right? So in the beginning, when I first started this tank and I had the geos in here and the discus were still small and young, they were being out-competed for food, because the geos are like bullets. They're like little missiles, and they swallow everything up, and the discus have a hard time, trying to get the food. Sometimes they miss, and they had to go after it 3 or 4 times before they get it. But by that time, the geos ate it all up. So I had to actually remove the geos from the tank, and I moved them to another tank and kept only the discus and the arowana. Then the discus started to grow. They started to get a little fat. They were eating very well. Once they put on a good amount of size, I decided, okay, now they're good. I can put the geos back in. So if your concern is just arowana in discus, that's not really a concern. The arowana eat huge pellets. They eat the huge freeze-dried jumbo krill. And the discus go after that too, right? But the discus food specifically is so tiny that the arowana don't even go after it. Brian Shelton just upgraded to Tank Boss. Let's go. Appreciate you, Brian. Welcome to the family. Star says thank you at Los Angeles Cichlids. Okay. Fish Fam also thanks Brian. I love it. Is Fish Fam Link a bot? I don't know. Maybe that's a bot that I don't even know of. Fish Fam Link, let me know. Is this my bot posting, or are you a real person? Mandy says, forgot to say that I'm on a budget and my tank is 4 feet. I didn't get your previous post, Mandy. Ryan says, I'm about to get my 75 gallon with around 20 in Buna. Would a Fluo FX2 be okay? I don't think so, bro. I think that an FX2 might start off okay for you, but eventually you're going to need to upgrade that once the Mbuna get bigger. And you're probably going to want to have much more than 20 Mbuna. If you start seeing aggression problems, you're going to add more fish to solve that problem, and then you're going to need a bigger filter anyway. Listen, if you're considering getting an FX series canister, just go ahead and get the big one, bro. Just get the big one. Eventually down the road, when you upgrade tanks, when you add more fish, you're gonna be glad that you got the big one anyway. Okay, what's going on? My chat stopped moving. Let me see if I'm frozen here. No, I'm not frozen. Hunch 18. Okay, new member. Kev, little fry here. Can't be a stud. I'm a woman. I like that. Just wanted to say thanks for all your personal help with answering my question. Bendiciones, Maritza. Thank you, Maritza. Listen, females can be studs too. You guys can be studs. Studs just mean you're powerful. But thank you for joining the Lil Fry. Thank you, Maritza. Lori to Brian Shelton. DS Edit says, hello, Kev. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, DS Edits. Wee Chong says, what's a good media to convert nitrate to nitrogen gas? So I use Seachem Matrix Biomedia. I have in the past tried BioHome, which a lot of people swear by BioHome, but I found that you got to use a ton of BioHome. You got to use so much BioHome in order to actually get it to grow anaerobic bacteria. When I switched over to Seachem Matrix, I just filled up my canisters, the normal amount that they would hold, and within 6 or 7 months, I started to see a reduction in nitrate. So Seachem Matrix is my go-to. Brian is from upstate New York. Paul Taylor with the $4.99. Thank you, brother Paul. No message, but he left a sticker. Why are you hurting, Paul Taylor? Paul Taylor looks like he's hurting. Mike Mara upgraded membership to Tank Boss. Let's go, Mike. Okay, Fish Fam Link is definitely some kind of bot that I must have put in place a while ago, and I don't even remember it. But I'm glad to see it. Bling Bling says, how's the freshwater saltwater tank doing? I'm thinking about trying it myself. Let me switch to that right now. That's this one. This is the freshwater saltwater tank. Why is it so blurry? I don't know. Let me see. Change it for a second. That help? This tank is doing phenomenal. So when I talked about doing an entire tank wipe, guys, I was talking about this tank. I used to have other saltwater fish in here. I added some new guys. I did quarantine them, but I only quarantined for about 2 weeks, and that was not enough. After I added those new fish into the tank, one by one, every couple of days, I ended up losing every single fish that was in this tank. So I had to go 12 weeks running this tank with no fish in it at all to make sure that whatever parasite was in here starved off, because the parasite needs a fish. It needs a host to live and survive. So the number one way to guarantee that you get rid of it is by running your tank. It's called fallow. That's running the tank without any fish, without any host. 12 weeks of that, guys. That was torture. But I finally completed it, and now I added this harlequin tusk, and I got 2 clownfish. You can see one on the right, and there's another one always hiding in the far left behind the rocks over there. And so far, so good. This tank hasn't had any signs of disease. These guys all eat like monsters. I'm water changing with tap water in this tank, and they're all doing great. As you can see, many people tend to tell me that when you use tap water, you get an explosion of algae. You're not going to be able to control algae growth. Your water is going to be bad. The fish are going to be blah, 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 blah. All this hoopla that you can't use tap water. Here's my tank after the wipe. I've had these fish now, I don't know, I want to say maybe it's been like 4 or 5 months or something like that so far with these new fish that I restocked the tank with. And the tap water, saltwater tank is doing great. No problems at all. T-Shot. I see T-Shot with the new membership badge. What's your opinion on Auratus? I don't even know what that is. Sorry to tell you. I have 2 in my 75-gallon population, 22 in Buna, 20 FX6, and in FX4. I have 4 coming Monday from Live Fish Direct. I don't know what those fish are. I can't even barely say it. Sorry, T-Shad. Lorenzo says, in the African cichlid tank, what is the pink cichlid with the light blue face? Oh, here we go. These questions are hard because I don't know which fish you're talking about. So you said the pink cichlid with the light blue face, that one right there, that's just it's an albino peacock. I don't really know which one specifically it is, but it's definitely an albino, some kind of albino peacock. If you search up these online breeders and you type in albino peacock, fish like that will pop up. So a lot of these guys are OBs as well, and I don't even really know what type of OBs they are, which fish they're mixed with. There's a couple of, like, I got the Venustus in there, the Frontosas. There's Malawi hawks in there. There's sapphire fish in there. Looking around. There's Gordo. You guys know Gordo, the blood parrots in there. And then a lot of them are OBs. Some of them are albino. At this point, I've had these fish for so long that I've forgotten a lot of their names and their species. Lori welcomes Jonathan. Thank you, Lori, for that. Starlight says, what could I do about my discus? 2 of them lost their slim after water change. 2 of them lost their slim? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, Starlight. I don't know what lost their slim means. Christian says, albino Taiwan reef. So, possible. So I have a Taiwan reef in there. I have OB Taiwan reef in there. So it's possible that it could be an albino Taiwan reef. I really can't remember. Robert Wolf has joined the Cave Maniacs. Let's go, Robert Wolf. That's top tier, baby. I love it. Oh, Big Ron says, oh, slime coat? How do you know that they lost their slime coat? I have never been able to tell when a fish loses their slime coat. That's kind of weird. But one way to replenish their slime coat is by using Seachem Prime. Seachem Prime has aloe vera in it that helps to replenish fish slime coat. Or you could use Seachem Stress Guard. If for some reason you can really tell that they lost their slime coat, Stress Guard and Prime will help replenish that for you. Do I use any chemical media in your African cichlid tank? The only chemical media I use is Seachem Purigen. And I only use the Purigen in one of the canisters. Why? Because I know that my canisters go so long without ever getting a full cleaning. and I really tend to either disregard the chemical media in there and I just leave it in there for far too long, then it should be in there. Like, you really want to replace it every 30 to 45 days. And sometimes I'll go 3 months without opening the canister to replace the chemical media. So I don't want that to happen in both my canisters, so I only do it in one canister. But that's the only chemical media I use, Purigen. Lorenzo thanks Christian for answering. Thank you, Christian, for helping Lorenzo out. That's how we do in the members live stream also, guys. We help each other out. Hector says, does bachata help speed up your water changes? Not at all. It's actually the exact opposite. When I'm listening to my music and I'm jamming, sometimes it gets me going and I get into it, you know what I mean? And water changes take longer because then I want to record and I want to upload and I want to post, and then it just stretches out the water change. But I don't care. I got to listen to my bachata or whatever I'm hearing and blasting on water change day. Hector knows what's up. Robert says, just had to renew my membership. Okay, cool, Robert. Glad you did. So Tisha says, Araudus is an Mbuna, yellow and black, often called the golden Mbuna. Nice, okay. See, I'm learning something new on my own stream. I love it. Greg says, what would you recommend to battle green hair algae in a reef tank? Oof. So in a reef tank, battling algae is going to be a problem. Let me find it. Where is it? It's this one. So guys, I'm short one camera. So after I talk about this, I want to show you guys one of the tanks that you haven't seen yet. Green hair algae is an issue with high nutrients and high lighting. First of all, you should get some fish that are algae eaters. For example, why did it switch? For example, tangs. I got the yellow tang. I got a gem tang. I've got my hippo tang. Even the fox face over there also eats algae. My powder blue tang. You see, I got 4 or 5 tangs in here. And all of these tanks help with eating algae. You gotta have some kind of a cleanup crew that helps eat that algae. I don't know if they necessarily eat green hair algae, but they'll eat the algae before it accumulates into green hair algae. On top of that, the other kind of cleanup crew you need is snails. In a saltwater tank, having different species of snails also helps with algae buildup. But you also got to be on top of your water changing, your nutrient levels, all that good stuff. You gotta replace your socks if you're using a sump, and all of that will help with the algae issue. Number one, though, get in there physically and remove that stuff physically from the tank. This is the other tank I wanted to show you. I'm short a camera, so this camera has to be the mobile camera for now. Just in case you guys had any planet tank questions. Yes, I also have a planet tank. It's doing pretty good. Still trying to balance it out. Mani Tulvis says tangs are beautiful fish. Yes, sir. I agree with you. Cheetan Kumar says, hi, sir. I'm from India. And can you please suggest some tank mates for giant gouramis? I don't have any giant gouramis, bro. So I really can't. I'm sorry. Not my type of fish, and I don't know too much about them. Robert says, I just nabbed 8 peacocks from my local pet store. All males. That's good. And colorful as ever. They are in a quarantine tank. Learned the hard way once. There you go. Robert's one of the hard way learners. Lost a few before. Thanks for making that a huge point, Kev. My pleasure. I'm glad that it hit home with you and that now you understand the importance of it. That's good to hear. Big Ron says you still have your shrimp in the salt? Yes, absolutely do. He's in there. There's 2 of them. Let me see if I can spot him. Can I spot him? Oh, there's one right there, upside down. Let me see what my finger is. He's right there. There's one shrimp. And the other one likes to hide under that rock over there. So keep an eye on that under that rock. He might come out. They're doing great. And the guy that hides under the rock, he's constantly shedding. Every 2 weeks, he sheds his skin, which means that he's growing and getting bigger. So I love it. I love to see that shedded skin floating around the tank because that means he's growing. Eddie says, what fish do you have in the planet tank? That's an excellent question. I have about 20 neon tetras. No, I'm sorry, not neon. Yes, 20 neon tetras. Wait, are they neons or cardinals? Damn, I forgot. I definitely have 20 rummy nose tetras. You see the rummy nose on top, all gathering. No, they're not neon tetras. They are cardinal tetras. I'm sorry, 20 cardinal tetras. Then I have 1 paradise gourami. And then I have a bunch of rams. The rams are always hard to see because they like to hide around the plants. But I've got blue rams, I got German rams, and one other type species of rams that I already forgot the name of. I think it was a gold ram, probably a gold ram. And then I have 2 or 3 plecos in there. Oh, and I also have, what are they called again? Corycats. I have corycats in there as well. They're always hiding in the back by the substrate. I have a full video on this planet tank when I actually built it with the plants. And then I have a follow-up video of when I actually stocked it with all these fish. So check it out. It's on the channel. DS Edit says, how much water change you need to do in an African cichlid tank and how much gallons it is. So that's a very, very loaded question, bro. Because water change is dependent on your own bioload, right? No one can tell you that you got to do this much, this often. It all depends on the bioload of your tank. How fast are nitrates accumulating? How long does it take for your water to look, for your substrate to look like it's dirty and full of poop and waste? If you don't have enough flow in the tank, that can happen. So there is no one answer for that. You got to learn your tank. You got to test your water and figure that out for yourself in your specific tank. In my case, I'll tell you my experience with my tank, overstocked, probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 fish in here, 210 gallon. I do 80% water changes every week. Why? Because the nitrates rise pretty fast. Oh, there's also a sand diver right there. I forgot about my sand diver. He's on the bottom left corner right now. Nitrates rise really fast. So not being able to keep plants in here, even though I do have plants above the tank, check it out. I do have pothos growing up above the tank, right? That pothos helps with nitrates, but being that the tank is so big and so many fish, that's not really doing a huge benefit in reducing nitrates. So I got to do these big water changes and I got to do them weekly. That doesn't mean that you have to do them that often because it depends on your tank. Chris G says RO. I don't know what that means. Harrison says, from the UK and the tap water here naturally has high nitrates. Is that something to worry about? If so, what would be the solution? Okay, that's what Chris is saying, RO. So if you really have those high nitrates as high that it's no point in even doing a water change because the nitrates are already that high, you might have to go with RODI water, which will strip your water of all the nutrients that it has, but then you also have to replenish those nutrients before just putting it in the tank. So something like, what's it called? Secam Equilibrium. You can use Equilibrium to remineralize that water to make sure that your fish get enough minerals. And if you're going to keep African cichlids, go with cichlid lake salt. Cichlid lake salt has a ton of minerals in it. Brian says, at Pat's, to Pat Life, I also added some giant danios. They're very attractive swimmers. Okay, he's helping the guy out. Guys, we've hit the hour mark. I've got tons to do today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. I want to do these public live streams much more often, but sometimes creating the content, editing, and all that good stuff gets in the way. And when we have events lined up back to back, one every month, that also gets in the way. But I do my best to continue the streams. For now, I got to get on with my Saturday. I hope that you guys all enjoyed the stream. I hope you had a good time. And I hope that you guys consider joining the membership and joining the rest of us on these live streams every 2 weeks. Because in the membership, we have a great time. It's a small group of us. We all basically know each other. It's the same guys that show up every 2 weeks, and we help each other out. It's a cool way to start up our own little community of members, and I answer every single question. Some of you guys might have asked some questions, and I had to skip them because there's no way for me to keep track with so many people. Look, someone just said Nick says no answer. I'm sorry, Nick. See, I didn't see your original question, Nick. So I can't see every single comment because it's just too many. On the membership, though, when we do that every 2 weeks, I answer every single line. Okay, every question, every comment. We talk about anything and everything. It's not just fish. We get into it. So consider it, guys. It also helps the channel a ton. Helps to keep the channel growing and content coming out. This is the #1 way to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Enjoy your Saturday, guys. It's a beautiful weekend here in New York. I don't know about where you are. Next week, we're in Georgia. Next month, we're in the UK. Let's go. Peace.